The top of the Empire State Building.
Z100, New York.
Welcome to our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. The camera is on Maxwell and Crystal, but it should be on Mr. Louis Tomlinson in the building, y'all. Yeah.
Hello.
Louis!
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, big time for me.
Yes, you have your new album. We've been waiting your sophomore album. How are you feeling?
Feel amazing. I did pretty much the majority of the tour knowing what this album was going to be. The tour that I finished this year. So it's just a nice feeling to have it out. I'm really excited about, already just watching fans' reaction to it. And there's a lot of me in this record. So already the reaction has been amazing. And just feel really lucky, really proud to have made this record, definitely.
You titled it Faith in the Future, dude. So how much faith did you have in the future, knowing that road ahead of you was going to be a career that's going to be a long career? I mean, you started so young, and having to believe in yourself and to stay true and finding the sound this time and knowing this is who Louis is. Yeah,
and that's a constant thing. That there has been definitely times in my career where I felt like maybe I was swimming against the tide a little bit, and I had to have a bit of faith, But also the record as a whole kind of feels, even when it gets a little bit darker, it kind of ends with some kind of like hope. And I just wanted this whole record to feel hopeful from the off, so it feels like a hopeful title.
Yeah? Yo!
We were talking off air how you feel a lot more confident this time around putting out your music. How do you see yourself? Like, what exactly do you see about yourself that you are feeling that way and see that?
I keep saying this, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's simply the fans. The reason that I've got the confidence to make this record, which then by definition, because it's the record I want to make, gives me confidence. I'm only allowed to do that because of the fan base and because of their incredible support. There has been a bit of a shift musically from Walls, and in some situations you might worry about that. You don't want to alienate the fan base, but all I've felt from them is support on me doing what I want to do, and that's allowed me to make this record, which is why I feel more confident. So thanks to them.
I'm getting goosies hearing you say that.
There you go,
no joke, man. You were here with us not too long ago to help us put a bow on summer with our In the Summer Bash, and to see the 6,000 strong in a brand new venue, up the road.
You shut down New York.
You shut down the damn.
All the kids are just running from the apartment complexes
like really
to you.
And the reason why those fans have been there since day one to now is because of your honesty, your vulnerability in your music, your willingness to learn who Louis is and to go through this. And we were all going through that together with you. Yeah. So to know that you do have that legion on your back, you have those folks. How proud are you at the finished product? I guess this one here, knowing that you delivered and you've got so many people smiling along with you.
I really probably shouldn't say this, but Walls, my first record, I didn't listen to it loads. I was really proud of it, but it wasn't as if I'd listened to it loads in this stage of release. Yeah. This album, Made with Faith in the Future, I've been listening to constantly, and every single time I listen to it, I have the same feeling by the time I finish, this is exactly the record that I envisioned before I started, and that makes me feel really, really proud.
You have to go through that we're constantly learning and growing into who we truly are and stepping into our shoes and firmly tying them. And that's what you're doing now. You maybe put on some Vans and slid your foot in earlier. Walls, you were, you know what I'm saying? But now you got the Adidas on with the laces tight.
There we go.
You know what the hell is happening. Yeah. You know what's going on, and that's where you are. And we as fans of you, just because you are such a genuine dude, it's been like that since.
Well, we hear you get really vulnerable. Point. You talk about mental health. You talk about struggling, but then eventually you're going to get to where you want to be. Going through the different records on the album, which specific one did you feel was maybe hardest for you to write, or to be so open, or maybe took the most time?
Just because of kind of the way that I was introduced into the industry with the band, and so much happened in such a short space of time. I've never really struggled, to be honest. And in terms of lyrically, that's my bread and butter. That's that's what I find really easy. If you're brave enough to write from the heart, it maybe is the easiest way to write. You've just got to be brave enough to kind of, put those things out to the world. So I wouldn't say there was anything that was challenging to write because I wasn't ready to get that honest.
We are hearing there's one that's making you smile. That Silver Tongues is that track for you, bro.
Love that, man.
There
Love
goes.
that song.
Yeah. Why that one? Why is that the one that's a standout for you in your heart and amongst these amazing records that you have here?
It's between that and Out of My System, and I think what they share in common is energy and tempo. And that this whole record was written with the tour in mind, the next tour that I'm going to go on, and they're the two songs that, when I imagine what that tour might feel like, that's where I feel the most excited, around those two kind of sonics and energy.
It drives,
And back to you saying that you love being honest in your music, and that's where you really show who you are. You also decide to be private and reserved about your private life. Why is that really important to you, to be open with the music, but with what's going on with your family and all that, you want to be a little more reserved?
Yeah, well, it's massively important for me. Again, you know, from being 18 years old and being in the industry, that's how old I was when I started with the band. There's been an element of wanting to keep your private life private. There's a reason it's called private life. And, you know, sometimes that's more challenging in my job. So I like to kind of open up with my lyrics, and some of it is kind of open to interpretation in terms of what it specifically means. But my private life, I mean, that's the way you stay sane in this job. You've got to have those little moments for yourself. And like, there's amazing, you know, like on Christmas Day with my family, it's an incredible time. Never would I be putting any of those pictures up on Instagram, because that's my time. You know what I mean?
Damn, you want to know what, Crystal? I was going to ask him. I'm planning on going to London for the holidays. I was going to ask if I can come and kick it at his house for Christmas. Now I think I have the invitation. I can't ask him now.
As long as you don't take no Instagrams, you're welcome.
Man,
You're
phone is
welcome.
off, bro. Phone is off. Do not disturb, bro. You want to kick it? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, we will.
We kicked it. Yeah, so as you're saying about that, opening it and you know, a lot of those lyrics also being open for interpretation. One of the songs that I connected to, what happened in Chicago, man? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to leave that one close to my chest, that one. Pretty kind of raw lyric that. I think that lyric kind of hits you in the heart. But nah, I'm not telling you what
all right, okay. Okay. Yo, should we talk tour a little bit with Louis here? Because you announced a U.S. tour.
And that's the reason that you're saying you got to the album. You wanted to make an album to tour.
Yeah.
You have over 50 cities. You're hitting us here in Queens.
Come on,
so
dog.
what do we expect? What can we see? What can your fans get really excited for?
I think the first tour for me, and I'd like to think the fans would agree, was really fun. It was really exciting. And I think my band did a great job of bringing the songs in Walls to life. This album, I think, even on first listen for fans, feels a bit more self-explanatory when they imagine what those tour shows might feel like. I think you can kind of tell that these songs have been written for that kind of live context. Yeah. And I haven't really got into specifically like what it looks like, but it's important for me naturally, kind of obviously, for it to feel like a level up from the last tour. But what I want to do with this record is make an album that meets the fans in the middle, because every single show, and I know how lucky I am for this, the energy is unbelievable. So I wanted to make a record where, you know, I can kind of double down on that energy and have an album that kind of enforces that.
Dude, does it ever get weird when you're performing some of these songs for the first time, maybe those first two tour stops, and the fans are singing back the songs to album cuts already?
Honestly, I think I'm a little bit naive, because I can remember on the first album thinking the same thing. It surprises me every time. Yeah. You know, and there's the show at Irving Plaza, and the album's been out however long. I wouldn't be surprised if they know the words to them tunes. Do you know what I mean? Which is an incredible feeling, especially because, you know, playing new stuff, you know, it feels a certain kind of way. So to have that support from the off, when you're doing something right.
Yeah, when you're saying, you know, meet the fans halfway, they're there to meet you 95% of the way. You know what I mean? Like, we're there for you, bro. That's really what it comes down to.
And sometimes the fans are your little baby boy, Freddie. You mentioned that he was in the audience watching you. So what have you learned being a dad and writing music and being on the tour? Like, what is a really big takeaway?
I'm not sure. I mean, it will probably affect my songwriting in like a subconscious way. I can't think of anything specific within the songwriting, but in terms of what it's taught me as a person, I'm sure any parent can relate. You know, it teaches you a million different things. I mean, I had a bit of a crash course when I was younger, because I've always been the oldest for my sisters and my brother. So But in terms of what it's taught me, I don't know. I mean, more responsibility, more empathy. I mean, I'm sure every parent can relate to those things.
For sure.
Do you see them maybe getting into music? Do you see him having a little?
In the last 18 months, he's definitely getting into music more and more. And also now he's got something to say about my tunes, which luckily it's good. Luckily it's good.
Yeah.
But that's sweet. That's really sweet.
You know who also has that moment? We talked to Macklemore and his daughter. She's right there, like has his personal like, yo, Sloan, is this popping? And she'll tell him. She'll be honest. She's like, yo, Dad, this is horrible. You know what I'm saying? She'll be like, Dad, I'm bopping to this.
Kids
dude.
will be honest, though,
kids
man.
will be honest, man.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
We've talked a tiny bit about Irving Plaza, what you're gonna be, but let's talk about this one night only that's happening tonight, bro. You just decided to spring on the world. Not only a performance on Fallon. On Monday we've got live with Kelly and Ryan, but Irving Plaza, where there was like a demand of like 30-something thousand tickets within the first hour of, I'm sure we wish that we could fit everybody in that building. You also, but can we put a couple of friends that are listening to the chat here on the guest list?
Yeah, let's do that.
And
Yeah,
you up for that?
Yeah.
So what should we do, like a call 100 thing right now, Crystal?
Yep, if you're listening, you're trying to see Louis at Irving Plaza, you don't got plans tonight, or if you do have plans and they're not as good as this,
cancel them.
Canceling. Caller 100-800-242-0100. We are hooking you up.
Oh man, Louis Tomlinson, you're with us. One thing before we get out of here too, I got a little heads up that there might be another country, another place for this home away. What's the
away
festival?
From home? Yeah,
away
the
from
festival.
home away festival.
Yeah,
bro, to sit on an idea to bring together a festival. Like, how long have you been thinking about doing that? I didn't see the first one come, and then now another one. What? Dude, festival, that's big.
Amazing, man. And personally, I've had loads of incredible memories as a music fan at festivals. So I've always had this idea in the back of my mind. It was much more of a dream than a reality for a long time.
Yeah.
And then lockdown happened, and I wasn't very creative at the start of it. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's time to do something and try and cook something up big. And the first year was a success. The second year, which was this year, was an incredible success. So hopefully just trying to keep the momentum. It's in a different country every year.
Dog.
At some point, it's coming over here to US. When? I don't know yet.
Okay.
But it's been really fun, man. Even like creating the lineups and like getting into like, some of the people that played this year at the festival, like the Vaccines, like I've grown up listening to them as a band. So to have them play at my festival, it was a massive honor, and also a testament to where the festivals are.
Hella cool. And you get to flex, and you get to really strengthen that creative, that producer, that director, that next level executive part of your brain. That I'm sure once you tick that off of the box, I can do this. Let's do it again.
Definitely.
Let's do it again.
And also, it's exciting to, there's still a hell of a lot to do in the music side of my job, specifically as an artist, of course. But it's nice lending your brain to other things and just trying to, try and work out what that looks like. Especially when I can remember the feeling of the first show and kind of walking out there. It was very different to any tour show I'd had. And looking around and looking at like the concessions at the back, people eating burgers, people smoking at the back,
sure
and it's like, I made this, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
The reason why there are nachos is because I said there needs to be a nacho stand. Damn it.
And there will be enough clean porta potties.
There's got to be.
Well, thank you so much for coming through, sharing your album with us, sharing your shows with us. We can't wait for you to come back after this Irving Plaza show.
Yeah.
And your fans are constantly throwing love to you, constantly bringing flowers to Max.
Love that, man. Love that.
I love it.
So we just want to say thank you. Do you have any, words for your fans here in the tri-state?
Yeah, I'd just say a general thank you, really. The support has been incredible for years and years. And if you're an old fan or a new fan, I just want to just say thank you for all the support. Again, there's a reason I've been able to release this album that I feel really proud of. And it really is a testament to the fans, so thank you.
And one major fan right there, Deanna. She was just, keep that young hand.
She's on the camera.
She's been there from the beginning. So
love
again,
that.
Inside of our Z100 Artist Interview Lounge, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Thank you so much to Louis.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
Z100.